So I decided that I wanted this pattern inside, and I just cut it and I stuck it in there, and of course I Mod Podged it and I glued it down. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Marissa from MV's Creative Creations. For today's DIY, I'm going to show you how to make this jewelry organizer. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of DIYs and lifestyle videos. So for more uploads like this, all you need to do is subscribe and hit that notification bell. So let's go ahead and get on into the video. The materials that we're going to be using for this DIY are, of course, fabric material. I'm just reusing the fabric material that I bought for the last DIY. I am also going to use the same embellishments from the last DIY. So I just have, these are just buttons, and I have the black and gold still, the blush pink and gold, and then of course just some pearls. So we're also going to need some doorknobs, some cup hooks, a wooden dowel, and I guess you can pick these up at any craft store. I picked these up, all this here at the below $1.25 store. I do have a haul on that. They have some really unique finds in there and at a really affordable price. And then I'm going to use this picture frame that I found at the Goodwill. And now Goodwill finds are very rare, and it's very rare that you'll find a duplicate of anything in there. So as I'm doing this DIY and you guys want to create it exactly the same, what you can do is just go to Home Depot or maybe a wood store or any place in that same realm and just pick up a piece of like a wood plank basically, and then a 4x6 picture frame, and just, you know, if you want to get little pieces of wood exactly like this. It doesn't have to be like this because we're going to cover it up. So just a piece of wood, and you know, and of course you might need additional tools just to hang it. It's really optional. And then a 4x6 frame. You know, 4x6 frame you can get easily at the Dollar Tree, and I know they have some things like more or less like this are wood, or even go into your local Goodwill and see if you can find something like this. I'm not going to paint over it. I painted over this. There was some wording on here. You might be able to see through this still. I painted over that already just to save us time. And then we are also going to use a basket. I picked this one up at the Dollar Tree. Alright, so then other things that we're going to be needing, of course, are Mod Podge, and I would keep your glue gun on standby just in case. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is cover up my wood or my picture frame with my material. So I'm still kind of debating on how I want to work this. I am going to cover every section of white that you see, including this in here. I went ahead and felt like it was better to just switch the patterns off. We'll see how it looks when it's done. I'm sure it'll blend in perfectly. So I went ahead and I measured my material and I cut it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just Mod Podge it, and I'm just going to use the same technique that I used with my shoe, and I'm just going to add Mod Podge to the material and then glue it down with Mod Podge on top of the material. Okay, so I didn't realize I was out of frame. So what I did was I measured my material, I cut it to size, and I went ahead and I've already Mod Podged this one, and all I did was put Mod Podge on the material and then glued it down, or laid it down and then Mod Podge on top of it. So we're going to do that here, but the sides are a different technique that I'm doing just to make sure that it measures out well. here on the corners, I'm making sure that it all measures straight, that there's a straight line. I did overlap a little bit over the other piece of material. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just wanted to make sure that there is no white seeping through from the frame. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just add more Mod Podge. My Mod Podge, so what I'm going to do, being that I was out of focus on this side, I'm just going to show you the technique that I used. So what I'm doing is I'm actually starting from the side, measuring it, and if I think my placement is good, then the next thing I'm going to do, like I can kind of just move this up, that's what I'm going to just fix that, make sure there's no bubbles, and now I feel like everything is looking pretty even, and I'm just going to add Mod Podge on the top there. Okay, so for the corners here, what I've been doing is still measuring it and cutting, and then when I put Mod Podge, I'll go in, measure, and then stick it down, and then you're going to have a pointy area like this, pointy piece of material, and all I'm going to do is just tuck it in like that. So you'll see that it's covered here and down here, and then all I'm going to do is now reinforce all of my material with Mod Podge. And what I did was I put Mod Podge like this on the corner and then on top, so it's inside of the corner as well as on top, so that it adheres and sticks to the frame. And of course I'm just gonna go in all over now and for this little section that I just added. Okay, so I've actually completed everything. I've already added all my material on there, but I've kind of been using a different technique on the edges, and I just wanted to show you pretty much what I'm doing, just in case if you're like me, you're measuring, cutting straight is not I'm not great at cutting straight, so what I've been doing is just cutting the material as straight as I can and then adhering it to my picture frame, and then I'll only add on half of the material, and then I'll go in and glue it, and then when it's almost completely dry, see here that's loose here, and so when it's almost completely dry, I will go in and just cut the edges off, and I have the picture frame here to guide me to cutting straight. And then what I'll do is I'll go back in with more Mod Podge and just glue it down again. And don't mind the messiness here. We're gonna clean that off. So I decided that I wanted this pattern inside, and I just cut it and I stuck it in there, and of course I Mod Podged it and I glued it down, but I'm not too concerned with the look on that because we are going to be putting the wire basket on top of there. So that is what this looks like. All my edges are facing each other, so they're facing each other here, and I'm gonna put this to a side and let it dry completely. I don't think I'm going to go in with any more Mod Podge because I've actually added a lot, even my bottom here. Okay, let me show you where I'm at. I'm sorry, I actually did not hit the record button when I did this part. But all I went and did is I cut on my basket. I went in with my Flora cutters and I just cut the entire side of the basket. And then I of course measured it, but I measured it from the inside, not the outside. What I really wanted to do was slide it through, but it just didn't work out that way. The material from the inside is still not dry, so it was not sliding through like I would have liked it to work. So I measured it from the inside of the frame, and all I did was just tuck it in and reinforced it with some hot glue. And so these, I mean, it's not perfect, and I might redo it because of this here. So it's really mainly just for the earrings to hang. Okay, so it's time to put the embellishments on. I went ahead and just left this as is. I'm probably going to fix it later, but just for the sake of the video. Then my dowel, I went in and I Mod Podge material on it. I added some embellishments on the side here. You'll see what this is going to be for here in a little bit. And I was just kind of playing around with my doorknobs, and I didn't know how I wanted to place them, but I think this is how I'm going to stick to it. So I'm just going to hot glue these down. Okay, so I measured, I'm not sure if you can see that here. So I measured it. It's about a maybe about half, like a 1/4 inch from the corner and right in the middle, and I've already added this cup hook, so now I'm just going to screw in this one. But technically it's to slide in here on the side here, like that. It looks funny, but all your bracelets go on here, so I'll show you what it looks like when it's completely done. The next thing I'm going to do is just add all my embellishments on there. Okay, you guys, so I felt like it needed some crazy pattern. I'm not sure why, because everything here is crazy pattern. So I took out that trimming that I used for my shoe, and I'm just kind of going with it, making just some crazy patterns, and yeah, so that is what I'm currently doing now. I don't know, I felt like I just needed more for whatever reason. So I'm easily just taking in my glue gun and just gluing it down. It's really easy. Just keep in mind that the glue gun, the glue from the glue gun will not be a permanent stick, so if you don't like it, you can always take it off. I did that with the knobs here, just trying to play around with them, and so they ended up, I was able to get them more to where I like it, and yeah, so I guess after you can decide if you want to make it permanent, go in with the E6000 or something like that. Finished putting on the embellishments, and really the only thing that I added were pretty much just the flat pearls on here. If you could, let me just zoom in so that you can see what I'm talking about. Just here in between the trimming, of course I had to add some florals in there. I just felt like it needed a little extra something, and so I went ahead and went with that. Then I did add a couple more little embellishments up there. I will say though that when I finished it and I was looking at it, I wish I would have just decided to paint this instead of leaving it black. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but it's not my favorite, so I think I might go back and do that. And then of course I put some jewelry on there just so you can more or less see what it's supposed to look like with jewelry on there. This knobs of course hold your necklaces, and then down here you have, you know, for bracelets, watches, you know, I mean, you can even hang some more necklaces on there. Up here of course is going to be the earrings. I'm just not an earring person, so I don't have anything but studs, but you know, for the girl who likes to accessorize, this would be very ideal for them. Well friends, that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!